Imagine a spaceship named Avalon, the most advanced creation of humankind, silently drifting through the dark infinity of space on a 120-year journey toward a new world called Homestead II. Inside this massive vessel, 5,000 passengers and crew sleep peacefully in hibernation pods, frozen in time, waiting to wake up just 4 months before reaching their new home. Earth had become overcrowded, polluted, and dying. So people paid fortunes to escape, to start fresh on a planet light years away. Everything was automated. Nothing could go wrong, or so they thought. But after 30 years of perfect silence, destiny struck. A massive asteroid storm smashed into Avalon. The ship's shield saved it from destruction, but deep inside, a tiny glitch appeared. One hibernation pod malfunctioned. And one man woke up. His name was Jim Preston. At first, Jim was disoriented, dizzy, confused. He thought everyone else would wake up soon. But as he explored the ship's empty corridors, reality hit him. Thousands of sleeping faces, but not a single soul awake. The ship's AI kept talking to him as if everyone was there. Fake smiles, fake hospitality, fake warmth. Jim tried everything: to contact Earth, to access the control room, but he was just a passenger, not crew. The AI finally revealed the truth. He had woken up 90 years too early. Panic set in. He sent a desperate message to Earth, but the reply would take 55 years to arrive. Meaning, he would die long before help could ever come. Loneliness became his enemy. The only person he could talk to was Arthur, a bartender android. Arthur served drinks, listened, but couldn't feel. Jim tried to fix his pod. He failed. Tried breaking into the control deck. Failed again. He was trapped in a silent, endless hotel, drifting through the stars. He started to lose himself, until one day he found her. Sleeping inside her pod was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, Aurora Lane. A writer, a dreamer, someone who left Earth to write a book about new beginnings. Jim read everything about her, her interviews, her files, her voice logs. Slowly, dangerously, he fell in love. But she was asleep, and waking her up would mean ending her life early. He fought that thought for months until loneliness won. One day, trembling, he sabotaged her pod. And Aurora woke up. Jim pretended it was a malfunction, just like his. She believed him. Together they explored the ship. They laughed. They played games. They danced. They watched movies. Slowly, Aurora began to see the world through Jim's eyes. She started to fall for him. Their love was like sunlight in the cold vacuum of space, rare, impossible, and beautiful. Then, one day, truth found its way out. Arthur the android casually told Aurora that Jim had seen her sleeping before she woke up. The moment shattered everything. Her trust, her love, her heart. "You woke me up?" she screamed. "You stole my life." Jim begged, cried, tried to explain his loneliness, but Aurora walked away. For days she didn't speak. At night, she stared into space, imagining a life she could never have. Then the ship began to fail. Power outages. System malfunctions. Fires. Something was terribly wrong. An officer named Gus Mancuso, the ship's chief technician, suddenly woke up due to another malfunction. He realized the situation was far worse than they thought. Avalon's fusion reactor was failing. If it wasn't fixed, the ship would explode, killing everyone still in hibernation. Together, Jim, Aurora, and Gus fought to find the cause and discovered the asteroid strike years ago had damaged the ship's core. But Gus was dying. His body was full of internal failure from his pod malfunction. Before his final breath, he gave Jim and Aurora his access card, his authority, and his final words: "Take care of each other. Fix the ship." With Gus gone, the two of them, broken, angry, and hurt, were the only ones left to save 5,000 lives. They worked together. Through smoke and fire, fear and pain, they found the ruptured reactor. Jim realized someone had to go outside the ship, into open space, to manually release the heat valve. It was suicide. Aurora begged him not to go, but he smiled and said, "If I don't do this, everyone dies." He stepped out into the stars, his suit glowing in the storm of light. He pulled the lever. The ship stabilized. But the blast tore his cable, and Jim drifted away, his oxygen fading, his body floating into darkness. Aurora screamed his name and rushed out after him, pulling him back with all her strength. But when she brought him inside, he wasn't breathing. Jim was dead. Aurora's heart shattered. But she refused to give up. She used the ship's autodock, an advanced medical pod, and forced it to perform impossible simultaneous procedures. Minutes felt like hours, until suddenly, Jim gasped for air. He was alive. They held each other, crying in silence as the ship hummed peacefully once again. Days later, Jim discovered something incredible. The autodock could also be used as a hibernation pod for one person. He begged Aurora to use it, to go back to sleep and wake up on Homestead II. But she looked into his eyes and said softly, "Without you, there's no home for me." Aurora chose to stay. With him. Forever. 88 years later, when the real passengers finally woke up, they found the ship transformed, filled with green plants, trees, and a small wooden cabin in the middle of the grand hall. On its door hung a nameplate, Jim and Aurora's home. They had lived, loved, and died together among the stars. Their story became a legend, a reminder that even in the coldest emptiness of space, love finds a way. What would you do if you were Jim? Would you wake someone up, or face eternity alone? Tell your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe for more emotional sci-fi stories like this. See you in the next one. Till then, take care and keep dreaming beyond the stars.